I'm going to try and knit my way through December with 6 advent calendar / holiday countdowns. I have 2 of them that are 24-day themed ones, plus I have some self-striping sock ones and a couple of incredible weekly ones from indie dyers. So grab your favorite beverage, grab your current project, and let's dive in. Welcome back, friends. If you are new here, my name is Melissa. I am the dyer behind Rising Tide Fiber Company, and I'm excited to share some December project plans or ideas that I have brewing for my 6 holiday advent countdowns. So let's start with my 24-day advents. They are from my company, Rising Tide Fiber Company. I saved a DK weight set for myself. One is for the love of dogs, and one is for the love of cats. The idea behind my theme this year was really to celebrate the joy of the simple things in life. And for many of us, pets are what bring us joy and comfort. So I myself have 4 Boston Terriers, and so I was really excited to plan something around the theme of dogs, but then I realized I needed something for all of my fiber friends who aren't dog lovers but have cats. I originally thought with these 2 pet advents, I had set aside DK versions, so I thought I would do a granny square blanket. But I currently am working on a granny square blanket, and though I think I could very easily get 2 granny squares crocheted up very easily each day, I decided that maybe I'd like to consider some garments. So the first one I have picked out, I thought I would use this for the love of dogs. And this one is called the Christmas Cactus. This is a DK weight sweater that has a gauge of 20 stitches by 28 rows in a 4-inch swatch. And the idea is that, even though the designer did not use Advent minis, it is designed so that you could use an Advent scent with it. I would need to come up with a main colorway, and then though the designer's version alternates between colors and that main color, I believe I would have to use my Advent stripes every single color change instead of using a main color in order to be able to utilize all of them. The other consideration I would need to take is in the upper portion of the sweater where the rows are shorter, I would have to make sure that I had enough to work on sleeves. That's really the only hiccup that I could see with using this one. But I love the idea of a cardigan. I love the idea that this designer, Pia Trans, has set up the pattern so that one portion of it is designed so that you can knit in the round and then steek it. And the second part, or another option in the pattern, is to knit it flat so that you don't have to steek it. I've recently steeked a sweater, so steeking doesn't faze me anymore. For the love of cats weekly countdown, I again have a DK weight version of that countdown calendar, and I thought I would do the Scrappy Striped sweater by Mary Gannon. This is another DK weight sweater, so if you had a fingering weight holiday countdown, you could hold it double. This one again is 20 stitches by 28 rows in a 4-inch swatch. This one retails for $8 US. This one looks or appears to have been designed for Advents. So the stripes, you do have a main color and the stripes are pretty narrow, so that I'm assuming for a majority of the sizes, you can not only match up your stripes for the sweater, but also match them on the sleeves. So if I decide that the Christmas Cactus sweater isn't going to work for the dog one, I might just do 2 of these so that, because the sweaters would look really different. I could wait, hold off on one of them, and then reverse engineer it from day 24 to 1 if I wanted. Quite honestly, I don't remember what these colorways look like in either 24-day advent. And I forgot to photograph them. So it's been a while since I packaged them up. I'm really just as surprised as you are. As I reveal them every evening over on YouTube Shorts. So let's talk about sock sets, because that's what I have the most of. For my first sock set, it's the Woolens and Nosh sock set based on the colors of the Pacific Northwest. It came in this cute little tote bag. It did have the initial stripes hanging out, and then I did not realize until I went to wind this up, I actually ordered it in a DK weight. So apparently I wanted something a little bit different. I have been knitting DK weight socks this year for the first time, so I suspect that's why, or maybe they were sold out of fingering but had DK weight available. I'm not sure. I have started these. I would show it to you, but I am actually, I think, maybe I'm not. I'm thinking I'm a stripe or two ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So by the time you see this, it will have passed. So you can see this is what it is looking at like. We have started with some really nice teals and moved into some blues. I'm excited to see where it transitions. I have peeked at the cakes of the yarn inside the tote bag. I have just kind of decided that I will knit a stripe every day. There might be days that I get ahead, like I did initially get ahead a few days, knowing that my week was probably going to look a little busy. My second daily striping, self-striping yarn is from Freckled Whimsy. This is a dyer that I get every year. This year, when I opened the package, I actually gasped. Like, I just thought, this is such a beautiful skein. Again, this is one where I will probably do 2 stripes a day, knowing that I really want to get these finished before Christmas Eve. I would love to wear them on Christmas Eve. Its mini skein is just this really neutral taupey color, and then the skein itself is all different colors, but just like the Woolens and Nosh, we have started with some really pretty teals, and we've transitioned instead of blue into greens. I'm excited. I love daily striping Advent socks. Normally I have 2 or 3. Last year I finished them all, I think, except for Cozy Knitter. I finished those just a few weeks ago. I think that I will be able to easily manage getting daily stripy socks done, because again, I'm gonna just be really fluid with how frequently I am knitting on them. I think they're a great way to get a little bit of knitting in during that first, 30 minutes to an hour where I'm getting my faculties about me while I'm drinking my coffee. And then the other pair, as I start winding down in the evenings. They're easy to pick up and put down as I kind of hustle and bustle around the house, caring for dogs. For both the stripy socks, you'll notice that I am just doing vanilla sock patterns. I love a good vanilla sock. I am not really too much into textured socks. I think they're beautiful. I don't do a ton of them just because I really like to just meditatively knit, and I don't always want to be looking at my knitting. Say if I'm going to the movies. I took knitting with me to the movies and knit on a sock earlier this week. If I'm sitting around socializing, I don't necessarily want to be looking at my knitting constantly. So a vanilla sock is just a great way to get some knitting in and not have to think too hard about the process. The last 2 sock sets that I have that I really want to work on in the month of December are weekly sock sets. Now, I offered 4 different weekly sock sets with Rising Tide Fiber Company, and I may indeed, they were for the love of coffee, for the love of tea, for the love of plants, and for the love of stories. And so while I will be opening those as well every Sunday over on my YouTube Shorts, along with my daily advents, I am obviously not going to knit those 4 pairs of socks every week when I already have plenty to keep me busy here. So those I will set aside into my personal stash. There may be opportunities where if there's one that really stands out to me, I do have a few favorites within those weekly sock sets that I might cast them on. But I did get weekly sock sets from Legacy Fiber Arts and a Homespun house. And let's start with Legacy Fiber Arts. So I have been a huge fan of Chelsea and Sue. If you are not familiar with them, I will leave a link down to their YouTube channel down in the description box. This is the last year they're planning on doing any kind of advents or holiday countdowns. So I really decided that I wanted a weekly sock set from them. Like me, they also do micro sock sets where you can get a 50-gram main skein and a 20-gram mini skein. And for me, I can get a whole pair of socks out of that. So for this one, I already opened week 1. I will put a picture of it here. The theme was movies. So this movie was Back to the Future. This happens to be one of my husband's favorite movies. It is a beautiful sock set. I have the colorways here. It's a really pretty lavender with that multicolored skein. Now, I have chosen for my Legacy Fiber Arts sock sets the Candy Floss Socks by Emily Clausen. And this is actually a free pattern on Ravelry, and it has a beautiful, delicate little cable twist stitch going down the side. I have chosen this for my Legacy Fiber Arts. I did start this and the colorway was just too busy. As if you'll notice, a lot of the projects on Ravelry that use this particular sock pattern are not as busy from a color standpoint. So I did rip back and then start just knitting a vanilla sock. As we go through the next few weeks, I will return back to this pattern, particularly if we get a set that just isn't quite as busy from a color standpoint. But I really felt like the colorway wasn't doing justice to the pattern. They just weren't really compatible. And I figured I could get through this sock set a lot faster if I just went ahead and did a vanilla sock. For my Homespun House weekly advent, I have always wanted one of Molly's advent. Every Christmas on her Vlogmas, she's usually knitting her weekly sock sets. And I know last year I just kept going, oh, that's such a pretty color. Oh, that's such a pretty color. So I went ahead and ordered her weekly sock set. She also does a micro sock set, so 50-gram main skein with a 20-gram mini skein that I know that with my particular shoe size of a 7.5, 8, I can totally get a whole pair of socks out of them. I'm so glad I did. So her colorway, our first one, I don't remember the name of it, and my tag's on the inside. It's this beautiful green mini with this really almost a hint of green in the main skein with some subtle speckling. And for this one, I chose the Hibernal Sock pattern by Summerlee Designs. I actually did a hibernal hat last spring. It's a beautiful pattern. It looks like a really intricate cable, but it's not. It's just some slip stitch, passing a stitch over. It's a very memorizable pattern. So I have been able to start my sock. Now, this is a textured pattern that goes all the way around the sock. So I do have to pay a little bit more attention. But again, I have memorized that 4-row repeat, and I'm just going around and around. And you will see that it is making this beautiful, beautiful pattern. And when you put your foot in it and you actually wear it, it's just a beautiful sock pattern. And I am definitely going slower. I can definitely knit vanilla socks a lot faster, but I'm loving this pattern. And even if I can't get through this every week, then I'll just slowly work my way through the sock sets. I'm not worried about that. It's time for a reality check. This is a lot of yarn. This is really ambitious knitting plans. I can do a pair of socks in 1 week, but here I'm gonna have that daily challenge of doing a couple of stripes every day. I think that's manageable. That gives me the whole month to get those 2 pairs of socks done. But this is 2 pairs of socks every week. And I don't know that that's really all that realistic. So I think I can get through these fairly quickly because it is just vanilla socks. And I don't know how busy the rest of the weeks will be. If they continue to be rather vibrant, busier colors, then I will stick with vanilla, and I will probably get through those fairly quickly. I think these are going to be more slow going, but I'm in love with this stitch pattern, and I think it would be nice to have 4 pairs of socks in this. So I could see these slowly migrating. Those last few weeks, they might migrate into January or February projects. And as for the sweater projects, I think those are really ambitious. I have no ambition to actually finish them. This is a lot of knitting. It would be foolish of me to set myself up for what I think would be failure. So, I will continue to open my daily advents, and as they progress, I'll kind of decide. I'm not casting on my sweater projects right away, and who knows, maybe I will say, screw it, and I'm going back to the granny square idea. We shall see. But I may even wait until I'm into week 3 before I make any decisions on when to cast those sweaters on. They are DK weight sweaters. For keeping my dog and cat projects separate, I will put them in individual baggies, and I'm gonna keep them. I got a new project bag. This is from White Clover Studio. I think this was the size large project bag. Even the fabric inside is adorable. I realized I didn't really have any Christmas project bags, and so I went on Etsy. A lot of places with more well-known bag makers like Barley Pearl, I probably wouldn't have it till the 3rd week of December, and I didn't want to wait. And so White Clover, actually, it was already made. I think she mailed it out the next day, and it is just as beautiful, if not more so, than what was in the Etsy listing. I don't remember seeing the striping pattern on the inside. I'm in love with this bag, so I will separate my cat and dog advents, and they'll be living in this bag. My sock projects will be living in this holographic. It looks dirty. It's not. It's the vinyl. It's a special type of vinyl that's supposed to look sort of holographic. This is by Black Pearl Magic from one of her holiday boxes, I want to say 2 years ago. I had never been able to get my hands on a Black Pearl Magic bag before, so I jumped on her holiday box and I got this project bag. There were a lot of like holographic like notions, her tape measure that was holographic. It's one of my favorites. And so my sock projects are living in here, except for the Woolens of Nosh because it's got its own. The reason being is it's really easy to identify all my different socks in this particular bag. You will note that I have another little sock project in here. It is utilizing a mini skein set that I dyed a few years ago, and I had cast on the glimmer sock, and I had done the heel, but I forgot to turn the heel, and then I started knitting on the foot, and I had it on display at a fiber festival when I realized it. So I've had to rip back. That's what all these little balls are in this bag. I may periodically pick up this little sock and work on it as well because I still have the pattern. I still have all the yarn, and I would really like to knock those out, but they're not a priority for me. They may be part of my January or February knitting. So in summary, if you want to see the 24-day dog and cat reveals, I'm doing those daily colorway reveals every night at 7 p.m. right here on YouTube on my shorts. And in a couple of weeks, I'll give you an update on what my Advent progress is, because I'm sure you'll be curious how I manage in a few weeks. So I'd love to know, are you team dog or team cat? And what would you do with 48 mini skeins DK weight? So until next time, friends, happy making.